Hi.
And you do a lot of things, but we are talking a lot about your comic book work, about the Hawk of New York, as well as musical work and adventures and animating, a little bit of everything. Tell us, I guess, in your words, what you do.
Well, I make stuff, mainly. Perhaps stuff that you've never heard of, but I'd like this interview to be one thing that can change that and make people a little bit more familiar with some of the stuff I'm doing. I think the Silvers, my association with the band, the Silvers, is probably one of the more like out there things that I've got going for me. The Hawk of New York is my property, and that's the one that I'd like people to remember and know more about.
I would love to, I think, start with what makes you different from other indie comic book creators.
Probably the way that I market is somewhat bohemian.
Here we find ourselves today on YouTube Land.
Some of the more aggressive indie comics people out there are far better resourced than me, far better connected. And ironically, they're kind of doing what I'm doing at the same time. Like, the things that they're doing are going to conventions like me, but they're also doing a lot of crowdfunding. They're doing a lot of podcasts and a lot of YouTube channels of their own. Like they're doing kind of what you're doing. Like they've got their own personality channel for every conversation they want to have that takes 3 hours. And I'm coming from it from the rural Arkansas kid perspective of, no one cares, man. Like, just give us the comic book. You know, I don't care who wrote it. I didn't even notice who wrote or drew most of the comics I read as a kid. So that's colored the way I market myself. And typically, I like person-to-person sales. I like talking to people in person and meeting actual readers of indie comics. Probably I've seen it change in the last 10 years. Like, there was a big segment of your typical convention goer that would be harvesting, there just to harvest indie comics and no other reason. Like, they weren't there to meet William Shatner. They weren't there to hoard encased collectibles of comic books or dress up for cosplay. Nothing wrong with any of those things. Not saying there is, but I've watched the demographic of people that I really care about who like black and white, kind of gritty stories dwindle down and down. And it's been kind of replaced with this sort of, give me the cover. I want the cover. The cover art is way more important than the story now. And so a lot of these guys that are doing the conventional marketing route are sort of, they're having great success financially, but I don't know that they're really helping the industry in terms of increasing readership and literacy in general.
And like visibility of smaller artists and just, kind of giving the underdog a chance.
In this, yes, and there's, I by no means have any hostility in saying this. Good for them. If I was in their shoes, I might be doing it exactly the same way, but I'm not. So I'm going to a big convention this weekend called Bell County, and not sure when this is coming out. So
hopefully
might be last weekend.
Tomorrow? We think it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
tomorrow.
to post this Thursday.
All right.
Which, is it Friday that it starts? What are the dates for the date?
The
2nd
through the 3rd of August.
Of August of the year 2025
Yes.
to time capsule us.
This is all the way in Texas too, so I don't know how many people watching the show can make it to Texas, but
so we have a satellite office in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and
Nice.
we also just shot a wedding in Austin. So if you're logging in from Moonship, Texas, leave us a comment. That'd be fun. And go
on
to
your
the
way to see Eric July in Bell County, come see me, little old me. I'll be in
we see you there, and then
Hall
go see.
E, I think I'm in Hall E. Wherever all the indie artists are, that's where I'm going to be.
And we
I think
will put
Eric's in the
all
main
of
hall.
the links in the description of this as well.
Yes. So, but that's a key difference between me and a lot of the other indie creators is they're being a lot smarter about it than I am. I'm like trying to meet the readers and really figure out what they want and give them what they want.
And I think that people meeting you via interview and hearing, perhaps if you relate to Eric, you might relate a little bit to me too, and kind
absolutely.
of finding that commonality of like, while there is sort of, did you say the Arkansas sentiment of like
Yes.
nobody cares? Like, while I do feel that, especially as somebody who has to be front facing, I feel like with characters that are so important to you and that feel like they're a part of you, kind of, you are introducing yourself while you're introducing them. So I hope that this helps you find some new readership as well.
Let's hope so. I mean, Lord knows it could be worse, but
it could be better.
Could be better, yes.
So what all kinds of projects have you been involved in? I know you do comics, but you do other stuff too. I watched a music video that you animated.
Yes. Well, there's the band The Silvers keeps me employed with editing music videos and writing them and animating them with my partner Juan Carlos Coltordio. He's an Argentinian citizen, and he's got quite a following down there too. He's a great comic book guy in his own right. He's got some of his own series. They're all in Spanish language. My brain's misfiring on what they're called.
That's how it goes. If you want to look it up,
yeah, I can give you the link for the comments, and then you can look him up there. But one's somewhat prolific, but I end up doing most of the direction and the editing for the videos, and sometimes I write them, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what shakes out for that project. The Silvers have been making music since the 70s, and they've got quite a bit of acclaim to their credit. They're carried on several different FM networks, and one of their songs charted in Canada, Gravity, which I ended up doing, putting into print as a comic book. You can purchase at my store or on the Redless Records website.
All down. I love it. Well, so with those projects, we've all either done something maybe we shouldn't, or wish we did something that we intended to do. What is a regret maybe that you have?
Oh gosh, well, I try to blend lyrics of songs into sequential art, because to your original question of how am I different, I talked about marketing, but that's another key difference between my comics and a lot of others is there's usually a tonal element to it. And another reason why I like talking to people in person is there's this intonation and voice that you get that you don't get with writing or with the internet, pretty much. Face to face is always the way to go.
I do love how you incorporate music in the comic, because it almost feels like kind of how you're talking about talking to people. When I'm reading The Hawk of New York, it feels like I'm also hearing The Hawk of New York. I, in prep for this interview, reread the first edition, the first episode. It's so funny, in my brain I think TV, film, and so I say episode, but the first comic, right?
Yeah, the first.
And I know there's Hungry Like the Wolf is one of the songs that's in there, and I was I really do feel like you're kind of using music as a transitional action element there.
Yeah, the intention was that people could listen to the CD soundtrack as they're reading it, and hopefully it would line up. The songs appear in the order of appearance in the book, so that's another way that you could help achieve the mood that you want if the art's not there.
But the art is there too. I sent, I'll put a screen grab of what I sent to my boyfriend earlier today. I was like, I'm interviewing this comic book artist, and he was like, that looks super sick. It was it's the frame where there's the busted mirror, and he can see behind him.
Bad Luck, I think.
Bad Luck, and it's
Social
the black
Distortion
cat,
too.
Cross Your Path, all that. And
I was heavy into Social Distortion when I was drawing that.
I was gonna say, what would you say are some of your influences in terms of visuals? Because I would say the musical influences make themselves very known.
Well, Tim Sale was a big influence on the way I shaded those first two issues, and I talked with Tim. Tim is deceased now. I think he died in 2019. I'm not totally sure, but he had worked on the TV show Heroes, the guy who did the painting. That was all Tim Sale paintings, and a lot of people don't realize that. But that's probably, for the masses, that's probably how he's best known. For comic book people, it's Batman: The Long Halloween, and the new or Superman for All Seasons, I think he was on, or something like that.
Sounds good to me.
But you had mentioned regret, and working with musicians as I have, I've worked with Jack the Radio on issue 5, or no, issue 4 actually. No, issue 5. Yeah, issue 5. Jack the Radio and Radio Cult, of course. And they were instrumental in helping me, no pun intended for once, putting together the soundtrack. But through them, I met a band called Mantelpiece, and I was able to get an entire concept album produced. Some of the music they had already written and was like needing a home, basically a conceptual tether, and Hawk of New York was supposed to have been that tether. Unfortunately, like the timing of it, like pretty much after I had agreed to, yeah, I'm going to do this awesome graphic novel associated with this concept, that's right when my money problems started hitting, and I got an opportunity to work in Germany with the army. So I moved to Germany, and like my entire network, like everything, the way my person-to-person marketing, like all of that changed like pretty much overnight. So I wasn't able to get started with Mantelpiece. I had to focus on keeping my family afloat and, you know, paying the bills, so to speak. So I still intend to do something with it, but it's, you know, again, kind of a different situation in 2025 than it was in 2017. So a little bit of things have changed since then. So I did just put out a vinyl record for Pure Ed. That's associated with issue 7 of the series, and that was all supposed to come out together. So what ended up happening was I put out a second printing of issue 7. I ran out of copies of the first printing of issue 7, so it was like really good timing on this part. And you can pick up a copy of the vinyl. Still have some vinyl left. Just came out this year, so I'll have those at Bill County.
Clear. It's very cool. We've got
it's super awesome. Like I should have brought one in just to show off.
I thought about bringing it, but I'll put it on the screen for them later. I love it. Well,
the translucent record, just people don't even listen. They're like, yeah, I want that. That's really pretty.
And maybe we'll sort of, I guess, transition by saying I hope to see some Mantelpiece sick art in the future.
Well,
but no rush, because life happens.
You know, hopes and dreams. That's things that I hope to accomplish is more vinyl. Like I would like to do a vinyl release of the original soundtrack, and maybe do a dual LP with Mantelpiece and maybe another original. I don't know.
Any musicians are trying to collab with Randyl.
So if you'd like to help this happen,
on the real, I guess
the link is in the description.
Yeah. What are some? You're already kind of getting into it, but what are some longer term goals for you? Definitely more albums, but
yes. Well,
where do you see? Is there a direction for the Hawk of New York
or
anything like that?
While I am a bit bohemian in the way I'm marketing, my long-term goal is just to wrap my brain around how to distribute this better.
Yeah.
I had a coloring book called The Ambassador, and I caught someone pirating it, and so I confronted them, and they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry. How do we sell this? We love this. How do we sell this?" I'm like, "Well, it's out of print. Like, if you want to sponsor a print run," like I said that kind of like snarky, right? And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll sponsor a print run." I'm like, "Really?" So these ended up being a supplier, like a major motorcycle parts supplier. And now if you go to eBay, you put in the Ambassador coloring book, all these different stores are carrying the Ambassador coloring book. You can still buy it a lot cheaper from me. But
if you are trying to buy it cheaper from him.
But yeah, that was something that happened, and I'm just like, wow, like, so that's how distribution must work. So you get a sponsor, and then you have mutually aligned goals. Since from the beginning, I'm a big believer in, I'm a democratic capitalist, and I believe in win-win situations. So like, if you're able to help somebody out to the same degree that you guys are mutually benefiting, then that is what it's all about. That's how.
In the South, we say, "You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back."
That's Forrest Gump comes to mind. You don't have to sleep in the mud that way.
Let me see. I guess, so in terms of that, like if we as the audience want to help you achieve those goals, how can we get plugged in? Like, where do we find you? And if we wanted to work with you on some of these, how do we get connected?
Probably, you can message me on Facebook. I'm discoverable on Facebook primarily. I've got the Hawk of New York official on Instagram, so any Hawk of New York official stuff, anytime you see that, like if you see a page for Hawk of New York, it's intended for the people who've actually read the book or who want to read the book. It's not meant for the general masses. So like, I'm not trying to play games and inflate the numbers, artificially. With Facebook, it's like sort of anything goes. And I think to an early question you had, my business model is basically the art of Randyl Bishop is my business.
Yeah.
Timebound Entertainment is a publishing imprint of the art of Randyl Bishop. So it's not its own company. It's not even an LLC. So I hope to change that. This long-term goal of mine is to get it to LLC status or an S Corp status. You know, that would be cool. Something along those lines. But I have to have an increase in numbers in order to justify doing that. So like I try my best to balance, the personal with the business, and sometimes one wins out over the other.
In terms of, I would love to again just kind of like re-audition our audience to check out the Hawk of New York. So I don't know, would there be like any sort of like teaser or like a leave them with something more that people may sort of want to latch onto? Like, what is it about Eric, or what is it about this world that is unique?
I think, that's a great question. And like, I think with Batman, with Superman, and even with Spider-Man to a lesser extent maybe, they're tapping into something that's a universal sort of, truth that we all have in common, we all share it. And what I've noticed with my character is like, it does appeal to sort of the loyalty in us, the brotherhood in us, and I'm former Army myself, and I've got a lot of veteran friends that are 100% gung-ho into Hawk of New York. On the other side, I've also got motorcycle club people who read Hawk of New York when it was in Greasy Magazine back before COVID. COVID killed that magazine. The business model fell apart, because businesses were forced to close, and they relied on the advertising dollars. So that culture is still there. So I get sort of weird pockets, like sort of clicky pockets of like, yeah, this is awesome. Definitely check it out. And that's what my character is tapping into. Versus Batman taps into something very primal, so that's probably what I would say is like, if I realize it's maybe not for everybody, and the Hawk of New York Adventures, which is like the all ages, kid friendly, no drug or use or horrible violent deaths are ever going to happen in Hawk of New York Adventures. It's all family friendly morality tales and meant to be a good representative of what an active lifestyle with motorcycles could be like, or even just being a good person. Like Eric is figuring things out of how to be a hero. That's pretty much what's happened up to this point. Is like, he's a reluctant hero, but I've called him an anti-hero before, but I'm not even really sure myself of which category he would fit into. But he's sort of figuring it out as he goes. And this is supposed to be somebody who's super smart, but yet disconnected from that common sense sort of mentality.
And there is sort of that, I love that it is a coming of age story for somebody who doesn't really know what his origins are, and so you're kind of finding the origin story with the hero.
Yes, you're growing with the character, and that's kind of what Timebound has been meant to from the beginning, is you're meant to grow with the universe. So I do have a lot of other characters to bring in. I've just not been able to do it. I'm sitting on scripts. Some of them are years old that I've not been able to develop. And it's not quite the same as the Mantelpiece situation.
Mantelpiece, we're trying our best.
But yes.
But yeah, I guess just to kind of close out, I definitely want to, I guess we can get into punk optimism. We kind of got into that with Eric a little bit. Like, did you have anything to say?
You said, I watched the interview with the bassist from your ad, and you said the most punk rock thing you can do is be optimistic. I was like, I just came out of watching Superman, the movie. Like,
you're like, yeah.
This girl is way ahead of the curve as far as like, because out of that movie, the memes that you may have seen or may not, and I don't want to spoil it. This is a very soft spoiler, but one of the conversations between Lois and Clark was, kindness is the real punk rock.
Yeah.
And I thought that was lined up perfectly with what you had said. It's like, yeah, she gets it. Like, that's where things are going now. It's like, in order to be genuinely subversive, you have to be a good person.
Yeah. I feel like we, not like we, you and I, but like we collectively made apathy cool, and I like the Hawk of New York, among other things, is squashing that, unnecessary apathy.
He's realizing that it has its limits, and it serves a purpose, but that there's more, and he's discovering what that more is,
Yeah, and who you are and who your community is like, we're the real power.
Right.
I love that. So thank you so much for chatting with us today. Like I said, talked about is going to be in the description below. But please make sure if you are in Texas, what part of Texas are we in?
Bell County?
We're in Bell County, Texas. Tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. Time travel. Time bound.
Time travel. If you're in Bell County, Texas this week, go check that link out. And if you're not, go grab a copy of The Hawk of New York. I think you're gonna like
Before we go, I have a small token of my appreciation.
Oh my God.
This is a limited edition toy that I produced for the Hawk of New York Adventures.
Bambi's gonna be so jealous. Bambi, if you're watching this, it's holographic.
It comes with, this is the chrome version. It comes in chrome and red.
I love it.
And it has a mini comic in it with Michael Rushbrook of Fiendish fame. His artwork is in the pinup, and a lot of it is Juan Carlos Cortorio. The comic book interior is done by yours truly. So I'd like you to have that.
Thank you so much.
And then also, I'm completely sold out of these. However, I was able to put together one more set of the first 2 issues and the soundtrack.
And the soundtrack.
And then
shout out to my mom if you're watching this. I'm using my CD player that you got me for Valentine's Day to listen to this.
and then of course Mantle Beast, the concept album that needs a graphic novel to go with it.
Beast, we're working on it.
Yes. There are 3 animated music videos associated with this. Crazy Horse's Dream is one of them.
I love Crazy Horses.
They're finished, but I can't release them until I get all of them done. So
Yes.
that's the hope. And then there's the Hawk of New York Adventures comic, and then various and sundry stickers and magnets that you may enjoy.
I love various stickers and magnets. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
New friend of the Moon Trip family, you will probably see Randyl around helping us out with free runners later this year.
I can't wait. I'm excited to be a part of that.